anyway. So the parks are already there. The skate parks are already there. Like you can, like you could do this stuff right now with the parks and the skate park. So like there's no that. This is just like free for. It's not like free for the taking. It's like this isn't. This is what this stuff was built for to begin with. So you're, by doing the skill stuff. I realize I am talking about this while I'm on the near the part that I said like don't probably that this is probably not the place to do it. And I would go along with that. I mean, unless the city council or whatever it is, like, unless they're like, yeah, we want you to, set up here on Thursdays and, from 4 to 5 is kind of weird, but like, let's say like from 5:30 to 6:30 and do like, and like just stick to those hours and you can practice out here and like it'll be visible and it like uplifts everyone because they're like, oh, it's cool. We got these like this variety of skill things. It's not a show. It's just it's just this group. And the other thing about it too, it's like when it becomes a show, then people feel like they either want to watch it, which is fine, and then it's a matter of like I would say like, well, like we'll get paid for this. You know what I mean? Like if we're doing that, then we're gonna get paid. Like we'll be like that's where you start getting paid. But for a show. And a show is the kind of thing where it's like, okay, like someone who's observing, a spectator, if you say, like they're not really expected to participate unless they come up as a volunteer. But when you have like a kind of group, like an open group, it's really sort of like very like normal, or it just sort of lends itself to someone coming up. And this happens all the time in the groups that I've been involved with over the years. Like people, not tons of people, but like, I would say if you averaged it out, it would be like at least 1 or 2 people a time. But this is like a group that has like 30 to 40 people that meet regularly and for a long time too, like established groups. And you'll have people who stop by and they're like, I've seen this for like months and months, and I never got a chance to come over, or I never even thought to come over, but now I'm doing it. And so they'll come over, and most of the time, and like usually with jugglers, it's like, oh, like we'll show you how to juggle. Like we want to teach you how to juggle. Like if you want to learn, like here's a ball, like start throwing it in the air. We'll help you. So it's like a lot. I just so you know, it's like that'll happen. And I would say that it's rare that someone like really gets the juggle bug, like from this. But at the very least, it's like an interaction, and that person usually is like walks away feeling like, I'm really glad that I did that, so that like I answered that question, what this thing was about. I interacted with some people. I got to try some juggling. Maybe it's not for me. And the other thing is that I've also found is like, you'll find that like even for yourself or like friends and stuff, it's like maybe you teach someone to juggle and they're like, oh, that's cool, it's not really for me, but I'm glad I tried it. But then like 6 months later, so like months later or a year later, they pick it up again and they're like, whoa, this is pretty cool. So you just you just kind of get out there and you gotta get your groups together and you try to stay together and help each other out. And like, like I said, when you have like 3 or 4 regular sort of like people who are like involved in like sort of, they're going to keep it going and stuff, like then you can like go on and like do, some like, like here, this is interesting. Just like they've got this, they've got the Frisbee golf. This is, I don't know what this is. This is like a smoke shop, I guess. And, yeah, I guess it's a smoke shop. I don't see a name of the shop, though. That's why I'm confused. Smoke shop open. Rubik's. Maybe it's called Rubik's. Rubik's. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, this is on the north side of the square. And, of the main square. And but they have frisbee golf, and frisbee golf I've found is that if you're a person that plays frisbee golf, like you're like, oh, maybe I'll play frisbee, maybe, and if I'm playing frisbee, I'll play aerobie, and if I'm doing aerobie, then that juggling ring sounds interesting. It's like things sort of like start lending themselves. Now frisbee golf itself, as far as a skill toy, like when we start categorizing things, it kind of gets sort of pointless to do so. But like it's not really like frisbee golf. Like once you start getting into like games a little bit, and it's just a different thing. It's not really like. But if someone comes out, like we've had frisbee for sure. Like frisbees, I was doing 3 frisbees with another person. So the two of us, and we were getting a decent distance. We probably could have gone farther, and we were throwing them back and forth. In the time that it takes one frisbee to travel, that's a pretty good amount of time. So you could get another frisbee off and do a cascade with 2 people doing 3 frisbees. We never got to the point of doing 4 frisbees or doing 5 frisbees, but I'm pretty sure like 2 people could be doing 5 frisbees back and forth. I don't think that that's too far off. Like the way that where we were with our skills at that level, it seemed like it's kind of it could move that way. So yeah, I mean, some of the things gone over, some new things here, but yeah, just like getting your group together. Oh, the other thing about it is that you don't even really need a group. It's like if you're starting this stuff on your own, if you're like, oh, I like poi, I like juggling clubs. It's like utilize the skill spaces that I'm talking about, and in other places too. Like go take a train ride, ask a friend to drive yourself, go for a bike ride. Like find a place, like make it part of your travels too. So you bring like a couple, you bring some balls, you bring some clubs, you bring kendama, and go out and like do your skill. And you'll find, I mean, what I found is that it just improved my skill too. But what I'm saying is that you don't need other people. You can go to skill space, make a skill space on your own, and that's like totally legit. It's just as valid. You don't need to have other people to like create a skill space. You can create a skill space on your own. And so, yeah, I just want to emphasize that because we cover all this stuff, these areas and stuff, and I talk a lot about how you get 2, 3, 4 people, and talk about passing clubs, but and so there is like an emphasis on the skill spaces being like a social thing, but yeah, you could totally do the skill space like on your own, and I would also, from my personal taste or my personal experience, is I would say like, do it on your own. Like go out and get a couple in of like your own skill space, like on your own, because for a lot of reasons, like doing practice on your own is like, for me, is like always like very valuable. I know that there are some jugglers who only pass clubs. Well, in that case, you're definitely going to need other jugglers, and it will be a social thing. And then I also know that there are like really like social jugglers. They don't want to do really anything except, being like a social juggler. The other thing is that you never know. You never know if someone's doing it on their own or not. The only way you would really know is if like you see, your buddy like out in the skill space on their own, and you're like, oh well, she's. There they are. They're doing the skill space on their own. I mean, that's the only way you would really know, right? I mean, they could be doing skill spaces on their own 5 days a week. You have no idea because they found like a skill space that's off the beaten path, and you never went that way, and they're doing their practice out there. Of course, 5 days a week would be pretty impressive because of weather conditions are always a concern. But other than that. And then that goes into a whole nother thing about like where gyms which might require like a fee or a membership, if it's a public gym, etc. Like there's what we're focusing on here is outdoor skill spaces at this point, but we can get into that later, talking about skill spaces, like inside skill spaces, which obviously are very valuable, like especially when considering the with weather. So I mean, ideally, I mean, if there was a town that, an imaginary ideal skills based town, it would include numerous skills based opportunities, in a number of different places, which is pretty. That's where it usually is anyway. That's pretty. You can usually find that. So that part is out there. Then you have indoor skill space, so that like basically like a 20, like a 365, like any day of the week you could go and practice. So this is just the imaginary place. Then you would have, what you wind up with usually is you can book 1 day a week for a group of people. So that's always like something. Even that's a real good success. Of course, if then there's a gym memberships and all that stuff, but this is more like a there's like a regular place that and that's something we can that's like further down the line, is that when skill space becomes as huge as pickleball, which will take 35 years or 20. So it'll be 2046. There'll be so much interest in skill space that like places will be like, yeah, like come here and like you can do your skill here. Well, we're not there yet, or at the very least. And also another one would be like spaces will open up where, like in the same way